Well, welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John. This report is for the 19th of March, and well, it started a little bit more as it became a little bit clearer, I think, to people that the off ramp to the war is not coming anytime soon. And the reality was, well, that's the 50K showing how clean the move was and pretty significant. Nonetheless, intraday was even more brutal because we watched this one happening pre-market, and then the sell signal, which took right about there at the 6803 range, and then it was just pretty much selling throughout the day, and then it just as the day grew on got worse. It's pretty clean going down, and even here in post market they tried to do a little pump, but it has subsequently dumped as well. It's fairly clear as to what's happening. At the end of the day, you have no control over oil. Uh, Now you're blaming random attacks from Israel, this and that. You're expanding to other countries. Where's the off ramp? Nobody's seeing it, and the premium is right there. I mean, 96 still not bad relative to what it could be, but it's certainly going to start getting worse by the day. And yeah, time is pretty much up. I think the market's given the benefit of the doubt. To part, you can do some with the reserve, but not a whole lot. Saudi Arabia has already found, an attempt to shift to, land transfers, but it's not a viable situation. And that risk is exactly what we were talking about because you turn that on, and yeah, it makes things a lot more sketchy because inflation is going to be a problem. The Fed purposely giving Trump the middle finger, keeping rates even. It's the wrong time to be doing that, particularly when you can see the outcome. There was no harm in lowering rates. It was actually a perfect opportunity uh, to get ahead of that. But again, they're wrong. So no shock there. I mean, anyone surprised by that? No. From the NQ, you can look at that breakdown again below the 25. And I think that's even what we saw when we look at the S&P from an intraday standpoint. Let's go back to that 50K because everything stayed below the 25 from a Magenta MBI reading here. I mean, you can see that it was clear. So when you get those low level pivots, you're always in a weakness mode. There was nothing but the previous day to get above there. Then when you match that at a much lower peak, once that pivoted lower, it was a done deal. I made it very simple from that standpoint. And those are the things I look at. The fact that the euro is dumping, uh, that's still way higher than it should be. So a lot of artificial, supports in place. But at the end of the day, you know, what are you going to do with the situation? A lot of people are running from it. Why? I don't know. Because the great opportunity to trade. I mean, how can you beat that kind of clarity from a reading standpoint? You really can't. And I think it's just beautiful to see it. I mean, there's your orange between cyan red continuation. Only now is it just flipped below and it changed, but you got no steel reset. So fine, you get a little support here, but as soon as that dips back below the plus 13, you're going to be on another negative run. So, yeah. So that everyone says, well, where does it end? Well, you can look at the daily. It's not going to do you a whole lot of good because you're already at the lows. That means you're just going to have to really, really shrink the chart quite a bit. And we have to start going back, way back, um, to all these levels. But there really aren't any strong positive extremes. The closest you've got to it is the dip below the red lines down at the 65 range. Why is that significant? Because it makes any kind of dip literally a free fall potential, um, because the support is literally the debasement of the dollar. I know people don't want to hear that. They all claim that it's value related, but throw in the bonus from AI and stuff like that, and you know you get a case really quick for significant drawdown. So there's still a couple weeks to go. We're not calling Chicken Little or anything like that. It's just expect hardship at this particular point because none of this is simple. There's still going to be those that believe that every little discount is worth buying, and they may or may not be wrong if they have some inside information as to an end run. But when you look at it from a strategic standpoint, you really see that. So, and now you're asking market players to start getting into understanding of geopolitics. So now it's going to be narratives. Well, yeah, you're either going to have hawks or otherwise these sticks, and the gap between those two is where reality lies. But they're not going to get the play from a narrative standpoint. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. If it wasn't tragic in a lot of ways too, but it's a good opportunity to really spread risk across all assets because at the end of the day, oil drives everything. So that's a big problem, and I think that whatever convincing was done to suggest that this was going to be a quick and simple. I mean, I said from day one that this was not going to be, this 10-day, couple week situation. You could declare an end to it, but again, if transit through the Hormuz is limited, uh, you can't leave it like that. So it's not over. That's the end of the discussion right there. Nothing else to be added. And if you can't control that, forget it. It's no different than having Somali pirates decide who and what transits, you know, uh, this, that, and the other, and that's a lose lose. So that's the long and the short of it. Again, we're just going to following the readings from the daily. It's just been a short all the way up here from just below 7,000. So that hasn't changed. And it doesn't look like it's about to anytime soon. So there you have it. Relevant. I'll put it on the team chat. But that's it for now. Trade well.